All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to listen or watch for those of you who are viewing Page Break Podcast. I am Brian. Usually, my co host Rich is here. He is actually on coming back from vacation and got some things he's trying to wrap up. So it's going to be me flying solo today with my friend and new author, Renee Grey. So, Renee, welcome to Page Break.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So yeah, good to have Renee here. Obviously, on Page Break, we talk with authors, we talk with people in publishing, things like that. So let's kind of jump back a little bit, not necessarily dive right into the book, but just kind of give us just a little bit of a background about who you are and your career and what led you to kind of start writing this book.
Okay, well, I have been in the human resources field for 30 plus years, and I have started an HR consulting business. And I had some people that would talk with me about the business and how to get yourself known and the services that you provide, and suggested writing a book. So I thought, yeah, that's a great idea because first of all, I love to write. And second of all, I feel very passionate about human resources. So I thought I would do this.
Okay, yeah. So it all just kind of came together as you were putting the book together. So you mentioned you love to write.
Yes.
Did the writing part of it, is it different writing, a something that's going to be a published book versus maybe some stuff that you've written, whether it's informational or maybe study guides or pamphlets or things like that? Like how would this process differ from what you've done in the past?
Well, writing this, I've always loved to write. So I can't tell you, I've started numerous books. Writing is therapeutic for me. It's a way of putting down my feelings, my thoughts, and it just helps me relieve my mind. So writing this book was easy for me because I just wanted to talk. And that's why the book is titled Heart to Heart Talk. I just wanted to talk with HR professionals because I know there's many out there that have a lot of experience as I do and that have obviously more knowledge than I have in human resources. So I just wanted it to write to them from my heart, from what I felt. So the book was easy for me to write.
Yeah, yeah. When I saw your cover and your title, HR Heart to Heart Talk, I deal with a lot of marketing stuff here on the publishing side at Genesis Publishing House. And a lot of times people will ask me like, well, would someone want this book? Would they be interested in this book? Things like that. And anytime, or not anytime, but almost always I say, do you have an audience that these people can relate to? And if you're talking to these people, like you say, heart to heart, it's like even though it's in book form, it's almost like as they're reading it, you're you're kind of there with them. You're hoping
Yes.
that they have that, they have that feeling that you're sitting there talking to them as they are
Yes.
reading the book, and you're walking them through things, giving them tips. I would think anybody that's been in the industry as long as you have, 3 decades, can obviously speak to a lot of instances that maybe someone that's been in it, 3 years or 3 months even. Obviously, you've seen and heard and experienced a lot that there's no way they have yet.
Yes.
And that would be, I guess, similar to saying if you wrote this book 25 years ago, it's probably a lot different today than it would have been in the year 2000.
Certainly, for sure.
So on the other side, I know you're a faithful person. So would you say that faith has influenced as you write or as you work in the HR segment of society?
Oh, most definitely. My faith, my belief in God influences everything that I do, whether I even realize it or not at the time. And for example, writing this book, I never intended to write the book for financial gain, or I simply wanted to speak from my heart. And I feel like because of that, that God just let the words kind of flow.
Yeah. So it's you feel like and that was actually going to be my next question, but it's almost like as you're writing, you're feeling like you're being guided to share certain
Exactly.
aspects. Okay. Yeah, that's great. For those of you listening who do not know, I'm one of the co-owners of Genesis Publishing House, and we're a Christian company. We don't publish anything that goes against biblical beliefs, biblical morals. So if you see the Genesis Publishing logo on the back of a book, it was carefully looked at and obviously spoken to, we spoke with the author and made sure that the author understood what we want to present to the potential reader. So moving on to the writing part, I guess, kind of the nuts and bolts of, starting to put the I always say pen to paper, but it's not that way anymore, obviously. I guess it's finger to keyboard.
Well, maybe someone in my generation it is.
I was gonna say, well, that's funny. I say that, then I started thinking, you know what? I had someone about 2 weeks ago. She called in, or I'm sorry, she emailed me, and I wrote her back, and she's like, "Can I send you my manuscript?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And I get it, and it's handwritten. It's not only handwritten, but she sent it to me upside down as well. So, like, the way it was formatted, like, I had to, like, kinda turn my
Right.
laptop so I could even read it. But yeah, of
And
course, that's rare these days. But back to you, mentioning you're, written a lot of different things, but for this book, could you give a potential writer? Because there could be people out there that may I always say everybody has a book in them somewhere, whether they realize it or not. What kind of strategies or maybe daily routine or tips did you use, and maybe you could share with the audience that may help them?
well, honestly, I didn't have a technique that I used. I may wake up in the middle of the night with a thought and I would jot it down. So it just kind of randomly came to me, the flow and all. There wasn't a strategy in place for it. And it just honestly, that's how I know that it was of God is because I can't explain it how it happened.
Yeah.
Now I do want to write. Now that I've gone through the experience for the first time, I do want to write a book now and have a strategy because I do think that this flows from the beginning where I talk about the person, knowing yourself, knowing what your passion and what your purpose is about. So that's what Heart to Heart does. I think it kind of sets the stage for the next book where I
Mhm.
want to go into more detail. I will do research and reading and trying to help HR professionals now deal with the functions of HR and not so much with the heart, but they
Yeah.
do work together. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Okay. Did you ever not everyone experiences this, some do. Did you ever have any part where, let's say you're halfway through the book and you're like, "Okay, I could probably do that better," or maybe you second guess yourself, or did the whole time it pretty much just flow right through?
Well, yeah, there was things that, I wrote and rewrote, but yeah, as far as I never doubted, which is not me typically because I always pretty much second guess myself. Is like, can I do this? Is this going to be of value? I have to share with you just the story about the book. So I knew that it was going to be a short read. And I knew that up front. But when I actually got that first copy of the book and I saw that how the content, how small the book was, I thought, oh no, and I had been asked God, what am I supposed to do with this? And so I had to, take a ride and try to, get myself together about that because I'm used to seeing a novel of
Right.
significant content. And I felt I didn't put, so I started second guessing myself and saying, you didn't put enough time into this. You
I
didn't put
see.
enough detail. It has no depth. Those type things I was asking myself. But then I thought again, what was my real purpose, my intent in writing the book anyway? And that was to speak to HR professionals from the heart, just talk.
Yep.
And so that with that, I came to grips and I know better than anybody that God can take something small and turn it into something huge. So
Amen.
with
Absolutely.
that, I found peace with it.
Yeah, and, I don't think you did share that with me. In this busyness of, and yes, I said busyness, not not business,
Mhm.
of life, especially, a corporate
Yeah,
world type of a, career person, a lot of
yeah,
times I say the phrase less is more. You can't always get someone's attention when they're looking at a 430-page book. They may think, well, that may be interesting, but, is there a little study guide for it? Because I don't have time for that. But, you
yeah.
look at 120, 140 page, something like that. That's obviously more manageable. for a lot of people.
Yes.
Especially people coming into HR that may be in their, mid 20s, in that range. I will, being almost 47, I would say that my kids 17 and 20 would definitely look at that. Actually, they would say, "Hey, is there a quick answer key so we can just get
Yeah.
the real quick answers and then move on?" But no, in all seriousness, yeah, having a smaller size book does not take away from the message, the value of the book. It's the same. Your intent and what you did is still there, whether it's like I said, 120 or 420 pages.
And I
I
wrote
don't
this
think
down.
that's not a
And I
problem at all.
remember you sharing that with me as well.
Yeah. So as you were writing, did you have any trouble balancing kind of the, personal? So it's like, you got your author hat, you got your corporate hat, and then you got your, just your personal life hat as
Right.
well. Were you able to juggle all those fairly easy?
It seemed easy because, again, writing is enjoyable for me.
Mm.
And especially in this part, I'm just talking, where I'm just expressing how I feel. So it did not, a time thing or getting it in was not an issue for me. And I
Yeah.
still work a full time job, you know,
Right.
but coming home and I would stay up, and I'm a early bed person, but I would just stay up writing to maybe even 1 or 2 in the
Yeah.
morning. So, no, it did not come, it was just not an effort at all.
Yeah. So it didn't feel like a chore, is what
Right.
sounds like what you're saying. Okay, well, that's good. Well, let's move on to the, just the publishing side in general. So from what I watch over as many emails as I can that go through production and to the author, watching the back and forth, things like that. It seemed like your production went fairly smoothly. Was it pretty much what you anticipated? Was it easier than you thought? Was it more stressful than you thought?
Well, I had no idea what to expect, but, I honestly have to say that it was such a smooth process from the very beginning, doing the editing piece of it, the book cover, everything, it just flowed so smoothly, and I thank you with all my heart because you were there through every stage of it with me, when I had questions. I know I'm an impatient person, and
I think everybody is.
and so
Information at our fingertips. It makes
the
you seem
only
patient.
thing was the anxiety of not knowing what happens next.
Yeah.
That was
Yep.
probably the biggest thing, but as far as the flow, couldn't ask for it to have been any better.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's obviously what we like to hear. Do you have a copy of the book there with you, by the way?
I do.
You wanna show the audience for those looking? I love
Okay.
the contrast of the gold and white. It looks goes really well together. So, yeah, I thought they did a really
I
good
like
job.
that as well. The first copy, I think that I got of it was more of a pink, and I understand the pink and the red kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, and that was nice, but I preferred this.
Yeah. Yeah. I I
Yeah.
I really I thought it was pretty catchy. Last thing, and then we'll kinda close up here.
Okay.
What does the future hold from a writing standpoint?
Well, I've actually started the sequel, if you will, I guess, to Heart to Heart, because I
Uh-huh.
do want to. I wanna go deeper, and so I have started. I'm gonna take my time with that, but I do want to maybe next year have something ready.
Yeah. Well, that's great. One last question, and I don't think I prepared you for this
Sure.
question, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. Um, someone someone that you're like you wrote this for a specific type of reader.
Okay.
After they read the book, how do you want them to feel?
I want them to feel like, you know what, I know exactly what she's saying. I feel the same way often. And the things that the HR functions that they perform, I want them to look at the role a little bit deeper as not just going into the job every day and performing the HR functions. I want that to mean something. I want them to see how much they truly impact the lives of others.
Right. Right. Now, I said last question, but I'm gonna follow up on something. So
Okay.
people in your profession that I mean, obviously being around 30 years, you've made a lot of connections, I would assume. Have you had some close people that you've worked with in the past read the book yet?
I have had, which surprises me, I've had actually some employees
Mhm.
that have read the book and have given me, feedback, have been touched by the book. Actually, and a friend, coworker, employee, said to me, "This is your ministry."
Right.
I really that meant a lot to me because I feel it is. I feel that this is the way that God wants me to speak to others,
Mhm.
and it seems like a weird kind of connection, but human resources is about people, and like I said, and the impact they have on their lives, and so I think somehow I feel like, God is pulling this all together, and it is my ministry. It is my way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you don't, God says many times, it's not necessarily the person doing the speaking. You can serve and love and show mercy and forgiveness and humbleness and all that stuff. Jesus' teachings through really anything that you do. I mean, I coached baseball for almost a decade. Everybody has their ability to shine.
Yeah.
If they choose to let that happen, and that's obviously
Yes.
up to them on how they choose to have their self perceived by others.
That's true.
But yeah, I think that's great. I love it. Obviously, HR, human resources, like you said, sometimes there can be stressful times. I'm sure you've dealt with frustrated people, you've dealt with angry people,
Yeah.
you've probably dealt with depressed people, you've dealt with poor people, all
Right.
kinds of
Yeah.
different
Yes.
frustrations and just daily things that people go through on a day to day basis, and that's who we are, as
Right.
human people. So yeah, when you
Yeah.
kind of break it down, it almost seems like it's very fitting that human resources would be some sort of a ministry outlet for someone like yourself. So yeah, I think it's great. That's going to be the end of our session today. Renee, thank you so much for being here. You've been
Thank
fantastic
you.
to work with. You've been patient. You've been easy to work with. You've been very. You're just always available whenever we need you for something. And your book, when people read that, I think they'll see your personality in that as well. So thank you so much. Renee's book, of course, will be available on Amazon, anywhere books are sold. Basically, you'll be able to find it. We'll put a description in the link, whether it's on YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube. Obviously, you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. So if you start listening to it on one or watching the other and get mixed up and think, well, can I do this or that? Then there's going to be three platforms for this interview if you want to pick it up on another platform. So again, thank you, Renee, and thanks everyone for
Sure.
watching or listening. And God bless you all.
Thank you. God bless you.